The struggle is real here, my friends. This is like the third time we've tried to do this. But welcome, everyone, to episode 46 of Missing Pieces. This is a very special episode because we've got a guest with us here, the one and only Mrs. Brickitect.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today, Mrs. Brickitect. We have a whole mess of questions to go through here. And the reason we're doing this isn't just because I love having you on, but because our family's coming over this weekend, so I can't do my normal Missing Pieces. So it's a great excuse to have Mrs. Brickitect join us here. And I know you guys have been asking for guests. They wanted like a small YouTuber, and they want their views to come out on Lego. So I thought I'd bring you on as a small YouTuber. And there's actually a question about that coming up here as to the revival of the Mrs. Brickitect channel and whether that'll be happening. But we're just going to jump into questions here. It's kind of like, I guess, topics and questions. I was trying to get things that we could kind of elaborate on here. So we're going to go into this here in no particular order, starting with Rhett, who asks, has Mrs. Brickitect started writing her book? And if she has, how's it going?
I have started to write it. It definitely is taking longer than I had anticipated. I might have been a little ambitious and naive, thinking I could crank it out so quickly. But yeah, I'm probably about 5 chapters in, and 3 weeks. I just looked at the calendar. It's 3 weeks till school starts, so I am probably gonna be switching gears and focusing more on the schoolwork. So it's gonna have to kind of go more so on the back burner, but I do have the full intentions of completing it. It's just not happening as quickly. It's just hard when you have a family and a house to take care of.
Clarkmans.
Yeah, to be able to just hone in and focus on it, because originally my goal was to get it done before the new school year started, but it's too much. I've done short stories in the past and poetry, and that takes a lot less time. So yeah, it's a lot to take on, so it's just going to take some time.
Oh, I guess I should say, now that you're talking about this episode builds off of episode 29 of Missing Pieces, I believe. So she talked about how she's writing a book there. So if you want like the backstory on the book, you could probably go back and listen to that. But it's a fictional book. Do you want to reveal any like secrets about said book? Right.
No, because it's still so early, and I have like a few different ways I'm thinking about taking it, and I don't know. Just like with any author, sometimes you write a few chapters and then you scrap them completely and start over because it's like, okay, I don't really want the story to go that way. So if I like say it out loud, then I feel like I'm committed to that, and I don't want to be. I kind of want it to be more of an organic experience.
Could I pitch an idea to you?
Sure.
So machines from the future come back and try to kill the person that starts the resistance against the machines.
Isn't that Star Wars?
Terminator. Wow. Star Wars detectors and Terminator detectors triggered. Leave a dislike on this video.
When you said like the robots or whatever, Transformers.
Robots from the... Oh, Transformers detectors are triggered.
All
right, we're starting this podcast. Welcome everyone to episode 4.
No, I thought of the Terminator, but then when you said resistance, it made me think of Star Wars.
It hurts me.
I'm sorry.
I now know how Star Wars detectors feel as a Terminator detector. John Connor left a dislike. Anyways, let's go on to the next question here, or topic, from JB Brick Fanatic. Fantastic channel, by the way. He says, any challenges raising Clark in the realm of Lego? Like, is it distracting him from other things? Of course, no worries if it's too personal. It's never too personal. What are your thoughts on that? Is Lego or Clark's hobbies in general, is that distracting him from maybe things that he should be doing?
Yeah, I guess so. Not Lego. I would say he's more obsessed with Minecraft. We don't let him play it every day, and the days that we do, it's like that's all he can think about until it's time to play.
He gets his fix.
And he just like is nagging the entire morning about playing, and I'm trying to teach him, the letter sounds and his alphabet, and so that's probably presenting a challenge there.
I can relate to him though, because I know what it's like to be obsessed with things and have that kind of personality. And I was exactly the same way. I remember I had a BB gun as a kid, and I would like pester my parents because my dad, I think, had to go out with me when I shot it or whatever. And it was always a thing, like I would pester the heck out of him until we finally did it. So I can relate. So I'm not too hard on Clark Man for that reason. Next question we have here is from Alexis's Gallery. It said, would you consider yourself a strict teacher or quite chilled? It's hard to imagine you yelling at anyone, but I know that things can change real fast in a classroom. Yelling at anyone? Be in our household. Right here.
Oh,
go ahead
please.
and answer the question. I won't change what you're going to say about it.
I guess
I'm such a nice teacher, so friendly, and everyone loves me. Yeah.
No, I am more chill, And I do find that when I yell at them, I have a really hard time taking myself seriously, and I end up laughing after I yell. And then the kids, that just kind of undoes the, effect that I was trying to have. So that has always been a struggle for me. And it's like I try to run a somewhat strict classroom. I don't want to say strict because it's really not. Like, I want kids to feel like my classroom or our classroom is a home away from home, and I like it to be as comfortable as possible. I want them to feel like they can be open and honest, and there isn't any critical judgment. And
I heard you ran it like the military. That's what I heard. Okay.
I'm more of that around here than I am in the classroom.
Why do we get the mean version of you and the students get the good?
Mean.
I'm kidding. I mean, am I?
I'm not mean.
Kidding. Okay. She's a little mean.
Well, when you leave messes in the kitchen and make more work for me.
Oh, wow. Is this where this is going? Someone said in episode 29, which I hope I have the number right, they said it felt like they were sitting on a couples therapy. Uh-huh. Maybe that's just what we should do here. Like once a month, we'll just sit down, and then we won't pay you guys anything, but you can give us advice.
It should be like Seinfeld when at Festivus.
Yeah.
They have like the air of grievances.
Oh my God. People would love to watch that.
Let me tell you what I don't like about you people, or I forget exactly
I think it's a win. If you guys want to see that, let us know. We'll do this. We have another question here. This one, of course, is from Remcar, who says, I would love to know her thoughts on the pandemic and how it's affecting her and her job. Had she heard about the upcoming school year? Will it be in person or will she be teaching online?
Oh, man.
Still kind of a question mark.
That's a loaded one. I would say that my thoughts on the pandemic, I think is pretty similar to everybody else's. This is horrific and devastating. I mean, there were so many things that we wanted to do. You're always told to live in the moment, carpe diem, and you want to go and live your life and all these things that we wanted to do. But then, you got to put it back in perspective. You can't just sit there and feel bad for yourself. I always think of Anne Frank. Anytime I got into the mindset of poor pity, pitiful me.
It could always be worse.
Yes. You think about someone like that who was hauled up in an attic for so long, and or even slaves in the Underground Railroad and what they had to go through. And
we're literally wearing masks.
Yeah. Wearing masks, obviously, it's inconvenient. It's hard to breathe in it. And I understand people's frustration with it. But ultimately, in my view, with the mask thing, and I'm not going to say much on it because I'm actually sick of hearing about it on the news and everything. But when you wear a mask, you're basically telling the people around you that you care about them, that you value their life and the lives of their loved ones. So as inconvenient as it is, I don't have that viewpoint that it is a form or some type of conformity, or you're a sheep, or some people who argue that and it's restricting your freedoms. If anything, it provides us more freedom, because if we do wear the mask and we go out in public, then we can get back to some level of normalcy, because we can go out and be a little bit safer and not spread the virus. And it's going to suck teaching all day like that. To answer with the school question, our particular school district is starting back in a hybrid model where we're going to have one set of kids on an A-B schedule. So I'm going to have a group of kids who are going to be there on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then another group who's going to be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then on the days they're not there, and then every Friday, it's going to be remote learning. And with the remote learning, I just kind of have to upload different things that they can do in an online format. So we are going to have the kids have that one-to-one devices. I think they're getting Chromebooks or something like that. And so it's going to be a challenge. I would say this is probably going to be the most complex format, as opposed to the other options, which was fully in person, which nothing would really change with that. I could just follow the curriculum that I already have in place. Remote, I just have to upload everything online and come up with a different way of how to present that information. But now I have that balance between I'm going to do my in-person instruction, and I got to reformat that because I want to do things that are work better in person. I have to utilize and optimize that time when I have them in person, and then figure out what's the best way to instruct them online if they're going to do it, hopefully. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling on and on
I
about
was hoping this is going to be like, we have a lot of questions to get through. I was hoping for like, yeah, it's really affecting me negatively, and we're going to be starting.
I said it's a loaded question.
I know.
There are so many complexities to it, and I have such an array of emotions behind it.
It's only going to matter for a few weeks, though, because my opinion on this, and we'll see if this is correct in the future, is that they're going to go back to school, whether kids are going Tuesday and Thursday or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. They're going to go in there. They're going to distance them in the classroom, but the kids are going to be all over themselves in the hallway, at the bus stop. There's going to be outbreaks that happen pretty much everywhere, and then all the schools are going to be shut down just like they were before, because as it stands right now, when they shut the schools down back in March, there's more people that are infected now than then. So like, why would you consider going back now when you weren't considering going back in the school year last year? I think it's just because this is the way things have been, but you're going to find out. And to answer the question about Clark, man, he's not going back. I'm going to be homeschooling him for the beginning, but the schools
we figured with him, like, he hasn't started the school system yet. He's had preschool, but it was pretty sporadic with how their scheduling was. And his stuff is easy enough, the content's easy enough to teach him. And he doesn't know the difference really with, not being at school. Like, his life isn't really going to change. It'll stay more the same, if anything.
Yeah. So everyone that was concerned about Clark Man going to school and not being able to make Lego videos anymore, we'll crank his stuff out in the morning, and we got Lego videos to make. So that'll make you guys happy. Also, we had a lot of political questions. I was listening to when you were speaking there. We had a lot of political questions come up asking to how we're going to vote and our thoughts on things like that. I think with what you said about the masks and your thoughts about that, I almost feel like that question's been answered, but that's as far political, I think, as we'll probably get in this episode.
I don't like to take things politically because honestly, especially going back to the pandemic, like, that is not an issue of politics. Like, it never should have been something politicized.
What do the scientists say? Okay, we're doing that thing, right? Like I don't go to the auto mechanic when I have a car that needs repaired, and he tells me that I need new brakes, and I'm like, nope, I don't think it's the brakes. I think it's the engine. Or, oh, there's no problem at all. Let's just keep driving it. Like, okay. Yeah. We won't go any further than that.
I'm really proud of, like, our governor and how he's handled things. Like, it's just a breath of fresh air to have someone who seems knowledgeable and is, calm, cool, collected, and makes data-driven decisions. Like you were just saying, like,
sure.
Like, that's what we need. And we need to remember it's not about the individual. It's about us together as a whole, and humanity, just caring about humanity.
We have a camera reset here, and then we go into the next question, which is a little bit more lighthearted than the last one. This one is, we're going to give it to Mrs. Brickitect. This is from Landon, who asks, what are your thoughts on the MCU? Never really heard you talk about it on this channel, so I'm curious.
So the MCU
is Marvel. Like, what are your thoughts on Marvel and the movies and the characters, I guess?
I like them. I enjoyed watching all of them.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Iron Man, right?
Iron Man.
I really liked Iron Man. Oh, of course, Thor.
How dare you? Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America was good. I like that one.
Loki.
Avengers.
Just.
What else is in there? Is that the X-Men too?
X-Men, they're Marvel.
All that stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed watching those movies.
I don't know if the X-Men are considered in the MCU though. People are going to get triggered like this because they sold off the rights to different things. Like Spider-Man's owned by Sony, so it's like tough when it's all in there. He's in that.
I wish Superman's my favorite hero.
He's DC.
Yeah, and I wish he was Marvel because I feel like the DC movies aren't quite as good as the Marvel ones.
It's such a shame because I love Batman and obviously Superman, and those movies, they haven't been great so far. Yeah. Now the DC people are triggered.
And for those of you who don't know, Clark is named after, like, Clark Kent, Superman.
Yeah.
Because I just have always loved what Superman stands for, like the symbol, what he symbolizes, and that truth and justice and just caring about everybody and just no matter what, like, the bad guy does in those shows or movies or however you watch it, like, he always wants to save them, and never gives up. And even if someone reveals himself as completely evil, like Lex Luthor, like, he still doesn't want anything bad to happen to him, really. Like, he always has such a good nature about him.
Do you think it was a mistake not naming Clark Kal-El? Should we have gone for it? Should we just gone all in?
I like the name Kal-El, but I feel like people...
I remember sitting on the couch when we were debating it, and we're like, let's go with Clark, and then we're like, what about Kal-El? And I'm like, well, there's no Kal-Els, But it also helps like with Clark because not only is it Superman, but I had a friend in third grade by the name of Clark who we were still associated with, but he was a good kid, a good guy. And so many names have been spoiled by bad people. Like we're like, oh, let's name him this. We're like, oh no, that kid was a jerk in school. We can't name him after that. And we didn't want to name that every single kid has, like Michael. You don't want to be like one of 6 of whatever. I don't know what common names are these days. What's the most common name, do you think?
For
Christopher?
No. For a boy?
Yeah. Like in your experience. You should do like a graph.
There's always a lot of Matts, like Matthew.
Any kind of Bible names, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
William?
Travis.
Travis is a common name. See, I've been so out of the
Logan.
Logan, like Wolverine, MCU.
But girls like Olivia and
it's funny because
Kaylee.
Olivia is like a old lady's name in my mind, but
oh, really?
What is old is now new again. Like I want to name Clark Henry, and I want to call him Hank or Henri. But let's go on to the next question here. This one is from Francis. This is a question for you, Mrs. Bricktech. It said, did you think Greg was crazy when he told you wanted to get back into Lego, or did you like the idea?
I guess at the time, I didn't really think much of it.
I had
didn't
like
realize
no Lego collection.
To the extent that it would, just explode into. But I always liked Lego as a kid. Like I grew up playing with it and having battles with my brother. I have an older brother, and having fun making, especially the castle stuff and the island sets. Like those were really big when he and I were growing up, and we enjoyed playing with those. And when he got back into it, it was like, okay, yeah, my goal was to relive my childhood passion for Lego. And the funny thing is, like, I remember just getting like one of those big Lego boxes, which is actually over there right now, and getting into that and like rebuilding stuff was so cool. In fact, I don't think it really got out of hand until I started doing this like very seriously full time, because I found a picture on my computer from 2016 that showed one of these shelves that I have here along the side, and it wasn't even full of Lego, and that was my entire collection. Now I've got freaking 6 of these, 7, 8 of these in here, and I have a whole nother storage room back there that's full. It's gotten out of hand, which is why Box Lives is coming to an end. But anyways, let's go on to the next question from Brick Wall Productions. Thank you everyone for the questions. We should thank people when thank you.
Thank you guys for that, because otherwise we'd just be sitting here looking at you, not having anything to talk about. Brick Wall Productions says, you have said multiple times in previous episodes of Missing Pieces that the burden will be on Clark with all the Lego when you become one with the Force. If Clark ends up not liking Lego or RC, what will you do with your stuff? And I guess that can be a question for you. Like say I were to become one with the Force tomorrow, or 10 years from now, 100 years from now, whatever. 100 years.
You better not be around that long.
Hello. Welcome to Missing Pieces episode 6012.
What does come of all this stuff? I think every collector kind of has to think about that. Like when you start hoarding stuff this way, someone else is going to have to deal with this down the line. What do you do? Do you put it on eBay? Do you have like an estate sale? Do you keep it in memory of me and all the things I built because my spirit is still within the carousel or whatever? It spins on its own. What do you do?
I suppose I would ask Clark what he wants to do.
This is assuming he has no interest in it. He said, my dad and me, we made so many videos about Lego and built so much Lego. I'm so tired of it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going to Mega Bloks.
I would probably have like an auction.
Okay. How much would you sell this for, just out of curiosity? It's just sitting on my desk. Like if this went to auction, like what kind of price would you put on this?
I might put that in my classroom because it's a school bus.
It's like apocalyptic bus. Okay, so you would keep some
I have
things.
the little mini figure you gave me of the teacher from The Simpsons. I can put her.
Oh yeah. Is there anything that you would keep in Lego, or would you just get rid of everything?
I would probably keep the ship in the bottle and have that on display.
In memory to me, or just because you think it's a cool set?
Both. We build it together. Have good memories.
Oh, there's so
I don't
many
know.
things
I'd have to
together.
like look at each thing and then make the decision. I mean, obviously, I'd be getting rid of a lot, but anything that has like sentimental attachment to it, I would keep.
Promise me this: you'll take all the Ninjago, and then you'll make a video of it burning, and then send it to Jim Blade.
No, I'll just send it to Jim Blade.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right, next question. Darth Dan says, what made you put everything on YouTube, and do you regret anything you said or did over the past years? Well, I put things on YouTube because I found this platform like right in the beginning, like 2006, 2007, and I love the vlogging aspect of it, and I wanted to do that myself too. I love capturing all these memories and stuff, and I started doing that. Is there anything that I regret putting out there? I don't really regret anything. It's not like I have any like videos that are like, I mean, a lot of my early videos are like cringeworthy just because I was bad on camera and and all that, and the quality's bad. But I don't really regret anything. Is there anything that I've made a video about that you're like, why did you do that? I guess probably closest to that is my favorite day of my entire life, and that's the day Clarkman was born. And I filmed in the hospital and showed Clarkman, and she didn't feel good about her appearance. Which
No, like for those of you who don't know, I gained like 75 pounds when I was pregnant with Clark, and
she hates all the videos around that time.
Yes, like around that time, I just look at myself and I feel like I look like Jabba the Hutt. I just can't even stand.
I disagree. I have this photo. We have this photo from Easter of 2015, right after Clark was born, and I think you look so freaking cute in that video or in that photo.
Thank you.
That I think you look great no matter what. Leave a like if you think
you.
Mrs. Bricktech looks great. Give her some self-esteem, guys, because I mean it's tough being a woman, right? Like we were talking about before this started, like just being on camera. People are instantly judging you as a woman. If you've been on YouTube, you've gone down through the comments and you've seen like, if you're a dude making a video, literally no one says anything about your appearance. But if you're a woman, everything is either like, oh my God, you're beautiful, marry me. Or it's like, oh, you're the ugliest thing I've ever seen. She's hideous. Like it's always about that. And it's such a double standard.
I just really don't even like being on camera, but I do it. And I don't know, I'm in and out, and I'm more comfortable than I used to be. And then sometimes, like always before, like especially these, I get a little nervous because the focus is just on us. Whereas when we do a live stream with your Lego, I feel like the focus is more on the Lego build and the conversation that's happening. So yeah, I do get nervous with these videos. And
do you think this would be better if it was audio only? If we just had like the missing pieces screen up here?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be as nervous, I don't think.
But I feel like you lose a little bit. Like someone that's watching this.
I know, like when I see someone talking, like I prefer to see them, as they're talking.
We're not just voices or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's kind of cool.
I do this once in a while, and
you tolerate
a
a lot. I'd say that. All right, this next one here is from the Upside Down Brick. I like that name.
Yeah.
It says, what's your biggest concern or worry about Clark growing up? Example, getting bullied because he likes Lego. Also, do you think all the time that he has spent talking to the camera will positively affect his social skills and his ability to make friends? Could this also be seen as a negative because he could be too social and talk out of his turn at school, or could share personal and private things to random people about his life he shouldn't be saying? If anyone has been on a Bricotech live stream, oh my God, or a Patreon stream, Clark will literally say anything.
Yeah.
Like way too much.
Yeah, he is very
He's social as heck.
Yes,
though.
yeah, like
we go to the store, the dude's like, he's talking to the cashier. Like, it's so weird because I consider both of us to be introverts, and Clark is like a huge extrovert. Like, if I was a 5-year-old going to the store, I'd be hiding behind my parents. He's like walking up and getting a phone call. He's like literally walking up and talking to the cashier, and it's crazy to see him. And I do think that maybe him talking on video, and like me just spending a lot of time with him during the day, like as we have over the years, I think it's helped his speech and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we always read to him too. I think that helps with his speech. Like he and I have like a little special time in the morning. We call it milk and coffee time. And I always read to him. And then usually one of us reads him a book before bed. And, I think
these guys have given us a lot of books.
Language is so important. Yes. Thank you to anyone who has sent books. Like, I love having a little library for him to choose from, and he can pick what he wants to read. And I just think language is so important. And but yeah, like I think that is worrisome. And I've heard feedback from his son. I almost said Sunday school teacher, his preschool teacher, and that he's very social and he doesn't necessarily want to sit down and do activities, and he just kind of would rather socialize and kind of just be a little.
He's going to be the class clown.
Yeah.
He's going to be the clown. I even noticed that like when we did the whole, like a number of things, like when we went to his preschool graduation the one year, he was like the most outspoken kid there and like being really wild, which is like, okay, cool. And then when they took baseball photos for the team and they said everyone do like a funny face or a silly face, he had the silliest of faces just because he's so used to hamming it up here on our channel. So it was cool. Next one here, I thought I would ask you, this is probably going to be like a 45-minute answer, but Cell Block 1138 Production says, I've heard that Mrs. Bricktech likes to work out. I'm in varsity cross country and would like to know what workouts you would suggest.
Okay. So I
in 10 words or less. I'm just kidding.
I usually mix it up. I work out now that we've been out of out of school and stuff, about 6 days a week, and I vary it up. I do mainly strength training, where it's just 3 sets of different things. Like it could be curls, like hammer curls, regular curls, tricep moves, so different body parts. I usually strength train for a period of time, maybe like 40 minutes or so, and then I can incorporate cardio, either running or the elliptical or a HIIT workout. But I try to do that balance of, I mainly have focused more on strength training and a couple days of cardio. So I'm trying to keep it short. And then HIIT workouts kind of count as cardio days if you don't feel like running or being on the elliptical. So
I need to start working out.
I wish you would.
I think when Clark goes to school, we're going to start like a regimen each day where I'm going to work out. Maybe if he wants to as well, like we might do some stuff and then like do his schooling and then we'll do video stuff after that. Just get into like a routine or whatever.
Yeah. I find the guy that does I think it's Jeff Cavalier, does the Athlean X. He's on YouTube. His stuff's fantastic. I love it. And I'm not like, I don't know him or anything. I'm not promoting him, but like... Yeah. Like, that's something you can look at because he has the science behind it, too. He's very knowledgeable, explains how the muscles and bones work together within the workout and what the proper forms are. Because if you're trying to, lift a lot and you're not having the proper form, you can really hurt your joints and muscles and everything. So it's important to be knowledgeable on what you're working out and the best form in doing so.
Okay.
I could talk forever and ever. Maybe we should have a video talk about different workouts and nutrition.
Dude, if you did a Mrs. Bricktech workout video, it would probably blow up.
No, I'm not like saying like film me working out, but like talk about like the different workouts. And
I get it.
And then after your workout, make sure you always get protein within the next, half hour to an hour too to help build the muscle. Okay, I'm done.
Well done. I mean, it's nice because they've never heard me talk about working out because I spend all my time making and editing videos, so I'm probably going to just become like this blob which has already happened. But anyways, let's move on. Brits and Pieces. I like that.
That's cute.
Says, has Mrs. Bricktech ever been recognized at school by a student or parent? Or I don't know how that would work. I guess like vice versa maybe. Because you'd have to go in the first day and a student would have to come in and be like... I know you from Brickitect or Greg's World.
No, I've never had a student or anyone like recognize me. A few years ago, I want to say maybe 5 years ago at this point, someone came across a Chocolate Lab video and then found out about the YouTube channel, the Greg's World channel. And then every year they just tell each other, so it has never gone away.
I'm mad that she doesn't tell him to subscribe and smash the like button, but
See, I'm a very private person. Like it actually bothers me a lot that many of the things that he has filmed of our family vacation, I know people enjoy them and watching them and stuff, but for me that's personal and private and I don't like it out there. But, that's something that you're passionate about, so I'm just like, okay.
I love the idea, like when people like authentically share their lives, which is so hard to find. And it's like we're having this experience, and to some people, they don't have what we have. They don't have a family. They don't live in the country. They might be in a wheelchair, and it's like to see us out doing something and feel like they're a part of it, which is why I fell in love with YouTube in the first place. Like to feel like you know that family and you're like along with them is the thing that I'm trying to convey.
And I see a lot of positive aspects from it. So I'm not as combative as I used to be about it. But we've also been able to find more balance and compromise as the years have gone on.
I'm not always with my camera out.
It used to be too much before, and it would be very bothersome.
Have I ever mentioned on this podcast that I struggle finding balance? Has it ever come up? I feel like it has, but I'm trying to do my best with that. And I feel like the RC hobby has helped with that because it's like, it gives me a direction in the same way that Lego has, like, I want to share my story in my life, and Lego gives me like the vehicle to do that. RC has kind of done the same thing. I can share my day, but through RC stuff. I always need to have like some type of hobby. But yeah, I guess that's the long answer to that question. This one I thought would be funny to spring on you. What is your favorite thing about both Greg and Clark?
That's hard. That's a hard question. There's just so much to love.
She's like, I'll think of something. I know with Clark, man, you can.
Clark, it's like... It's more so difficult. What I don't love about him.
He's an amazing guy.
I never would have imagined, having a son, just the depth of love and admiration for that little guy and how just everything about him, the way he talks and his personality, and it's just so kind and loving and sweet, and
He's a love ball.
oh my goodness.
We're trying to soak this all in while we can because
Yeah.
I don't think when kids are 5, they might want to hug you and all this stuff all the time, but when they're like 13,
I get any snuggles and cuddles I can.
I'm absorbing it all.
Yep, exactly.
I just wish I could just freeze him where he's at. Like if I could have frozen Roxy when she was just a little puppy and had her forever as a little pup and with perfect health and her personality. I want to do that same thing with Clark, but I think with this, it's going to be interesting to see all the progression and stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
So for you, I would say the thing that I like the most about you is your morality. Like, you're such a good moral person who really does not have a mean bone in his body.
Well, thank you. I can get mean though. Really angry. I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you for that one, and sorry to spring that one on you.
That's okay.
This next one here. I can't read the name. Bjorner? Is
that a J?
Yeah, Bjorner, I think. Sorry, Bjorner, if I'm saying it wrong. Do you have some country? I'm cutting this out.
We're gonna do the key peeling.
Brosson. Anyways, this poor soul said, "Do you have some countries you would like to have vacation to when you get rid of Chima, like Norway, Denmark, Germany, Japan, etc.?"
All the above.
Yes, please.
Yes, honestly, I have ever since I was little, and I've always wanted to travel, especially to Europe.
Yeah.
And Australia. Like, I wanted to do that Spain trip in school so badly, but my parents, I kind of grew up in a pretty low income household and couldn't afford that trip. So I've always wanted to go over to Spain, the UK, Ireland, Scotland. Well, I guess that Ireland, Scotland's part of the UK, but Italy, France, Germany, maybe Austria. We gotta go see MC.
I want to do a world tour. Exactly. I want to meet up with people that I know or I'm friends with or I've seen. Like, we'll come meet up with you in your city and you can show us around and stuff. I think it would be awesome. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to talk about making like a travel documentary? How cool would it be if we actually met with people in the city and they took us around? Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
That would be amazing. And New Zealand and Australia. Like, I want to go to the Queensland Zoo because I used to be such a huge fan of Steve Irwin. I loved what he stood for too, like animal conservation and the environment. And
is there anywhere that you don't want to go?
Adorable.
Like maybe Antarctica. We don't want to go there.
Yeah, not Antarctica. Probably. I only want to go to a few parts in Africa.
Probably not Russia. I don't think.
No, I'm not interested in going to Russia.
I don't know. So Europe. I want to, honestly, for me, she doesn't necessarily want to do this, but there's so much in the United States that I want to see. I want to go out west. I want to go to Yellowstone. I want to spend like a month.
I do really want to go to Yellowstone.
Literally a month in Yellowstone, and I want to go to Utah. And I just want to go to like all the national parks here. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that.
I would like to visit Florida and California.
We should go to Florida right now.
Hawaii for sure. Oh my gosh, I could spend a month in Hawaii.
Hawaii. I mean, if this video really goes viral, this one we're making right now, maybe we can build our dream home in Hawaii. Share this with everyone you know.
Fiji.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that where they've been filming Survivor? Oh my
I would go. I would totally go.
It looks magical.
Okay. Next one is from Jack. He says, have you ever thought about maybe sometime going to a store like Target and have Clark bring all of his money and see what he buys with that money and with the money he has? And will you in the future start to give him allowance so he can buy stuff that he wants with his own money? My mom did that. Now I enjoy my sets more than I would maybe have if my mom and dad bought it. Thanks for, and keep up the great content. He has a wallet. I gave him my old wallet, and someone sent him $10 in last week's mail time. He has that in his wallet, and he took it with him out to Lowe's. He didn't buy anything, but he was just like keeping his money.
Yeah, there's not really much for him to buy at Lowe's.
We did have a conversation though about it, and he said that if we do go shopping, I have to buy the things because he's saving his money. But if I run out of money, he will lend me some money of his. Apparently, I don't know if he's just letting me borrow it or if he's giving it to me. But he apparently doesn't.
He charges you interest.
He doesn't want to spend his money. So I think if there's any success that I could have, like with my storyline, is teaching Clark to be a saver at 5 years old is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And as far as like the chores things go, I plan on having like a chart in the
future. He does chores now.
Yeah, I know. I should probably start that now then.
Give him $1.
Like a different amount of money earned for each chore. The more difficult the chore is, the more money
he lets the chickens out.
It.
He feeds Mellow Cat. He collects eggs occasionally. Like, he does a good job. And that's the reason you should consider having kids. Like, if you're on the fence about it, They are great
Child
workers.
labor.
Yeah, like you put them to work. Like you get up in the morning, you don't want to go outside, but like Clark, go let the chickens out, and he loves it. So he likes saying good morning to all the chickens. This is an interesting question. This is from Super Pieces. He says, do you think the Brickitect channel will become a legacy in your family? For example, Clark takes over after Greg retired, and Clark's kids take over after Clark retires, and so on.
I feel like that's more of a question for you.
I think it's something that's very interesting to think about, like these YouTube channels with huge subscriber bases and stuff, especially like when I retire, whatever that means. When you do what you love to do, you don't need to retire. But say there's a day where this channel has 1 million subscribers and I pass on to Clark, like, you have to consider this channel as like an asset, right? Like there's income coming in off of it. There's a lot of people watching it. And I think it could work in a way that the people obviously that are watching now want to see Clark and would love to see like the future of Clark. And then like his kids though, like would that continue on? It's hard to say. Like this channel is only worth like it's worth something now. Like I could sell this channel to someone and they would reap the benefits of whatever income came off of it. But that would slowly go down over time if you don't keep up the content. So you have to keep that going. And I've seen channels that have been sold to new people and they just flounder because the reason you subscribe to a channel is because you like that content or that person or whatever. And it's hard to switch that over to someone else. But when it's a natural thing like me to Clark Man, more people would probably actually prefer it if I just wasn't even on this channel talking to you. Anyways, people have always said like Clark needs to take over, and he pretty much is. He's making his own vlogs now with the GoPro, by the way.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It's hours of footage at this point. The next question comes from Chris, who says, question for Mrs. Brickitect. How do you feel about Greg getting rid of all of his boxes?
I think it's a good thing. Like they take up so much space.
We have a bar now. You guys will see it in the video. We actually have a bar. And there's a ceiling above it. I didn't know that before because boxes were all over there.
And I think I said this when you were doing that live stream. I said it, and I think it's a quote from
Fight Club.
And like, the things you own end up owning you. Like, there just gets to be a point where the stuff is it's overwhelming. Like it's
when
like
you
piled
start,
high and it's everywhere, and it's like you just need to have a clean space.
I felt that way about this entire space down here. I just feel like so much anxiety and overwhelmed with how bad it all is. And I just can't live that way anymore.
I understand the value of keeping the boxes, and I do like the idea of you like compressing them and then,
like storing them.
Yeah, and storing them.
I just feel like if I'm at that point, it might as well just, I don't feel any different getting rid of them. In fact, I feel better. So I think that's my answer on it. But he has another question for me. He says, how would you feel if Lego made more video game sets other than Mario and Minecraft? For example, Fortnite or Animal Crossing. I think if Lego wants to make a pile of money, they should certainly do that. And I would probably be on board with a lot of that stuff as well. Next question comes from one of our favorite Patreon detectors, Dr. Green.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he says, what's your favorite family memory that you're willing to share, of course?
Favorite family memory?
Favorite family memory, I guess, in the last 5 years or so with Clark.
Whew, that is another loaded question.
There's a lot.
I guess the one thing that sticks out in my mind is our second beach trip. The first one, he would not play in the sand. He just wanted to run everywhere, so it wasn't very relaxing. Yeah. But the second one, like it was wonderful. It was the first time we stayed at that the hotel that we like, and just the two different pools they had, and the kid one and him going up and down on that slide was so cute. And he was actually playing in the sand that time, so that's a very fond memory that I have.
I think I know a guy that may have recorded a whole bunch of stuff from that we can relive it. Right? It was Ocean City, Maryland, by the way. Videos are on Greg's World. It's our 2018 Ocean City trip. It was amazing. Last year we got to do it again. We were planning to do it again this year. Chima! Anyways, moving on. Let's see here. Where's Live says, have you thought about what's going to happen when Clark grows up and goes in the inevitable dark age, or they decide to no longer be interested in Lego? I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm down for whatever hobbies Clark has. Like, he's been into a lot of things outside of Lego, like Minecraft. I follow him into that. He's into monster trucks. I followed him into that. He's into Thomas trains. Anything he wants to do. Like, this is not something that I would ever force on Clark. Like, if he never wants to build a Lego set again with me, that's perfectly fine. But I think that it's pretty clear from the videos. And I've had at least one person say, like, why do you force your son to make videos? I'm like, Are you kidding me?
He
Like
loves it.
Clark is more into probably making the videos than
He
I
wanted
am.
to come down and be a part of this one.
They would probably prefer that. There would only be Clark talking though.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do this for like episode 50 or something. Well, actually, it's coming up very soon. Maybe I'll have Clark Man on, although he has his own podcast, the Clark Cast. Mm-hmm. So I'll do it. I'll do a Clark Cast for you guys. Let him talk about whatever's going on in his life. Here's the question from Collector Fandom: can Mrs. Bricktech revive her channel?
I don't see that happening.
Here's a secret, guys. Most of Brickitect or Mrs. Bricktech's channel was me editing videos and posting there.
I edited a few.
She
It was
did
about half and half.
Yeah, I love the channel though. There's some hilarious stuff over there. We just need something really funny to happen.
Yeah, it was usually back when we.
Live streamed all the time.
Yeah, but we do that now. But I don't know. It's a lot of work. Like going back through the live streams and like piecing funny moments together.
You've got a fan base though.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say in popularity, it goes like Clark is up here, I'm like down here, and then you're like pretty much right beside me.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh boy. Oh, I didn't see this one. Has Mrs. Bricktech ever pulled a prank or done something very funny to you? Huh. I don't think you've ever pranked me. I mean, the biggest prank ever was when I woke up January 1st, 2015, and you said your water broke. That was, I wish that was a prank. But no.
Oh, nothing other than like what you see in the Mrs. Bricotech videos.
I wanted to do
like the squirt gun during live streams.
I wanted to do a water
things
prank
like that.
where you tie the the nozzle thing at the sink. You tie that when someone turns it on, it sprays at them. I just never did it. Now we don't have the
My brother's done that before.
we don't have the type of sink to do it now, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? There's got to be something else. I think that may actually be it. I kind of hearted a bunch of questions ahead of time, ones that I thought would be really good to talk about. But yeah, I don't know how long this podcast is. We've reset the camera a few times, but it was fun having you on.
Well, thanks.
I find that a lot of things in life, it's fun doing it by myself, but I have more fun like with other people, like having you on. I think Missing Pieces would actually be a lot better if it was like a couples thing. We should do a couples therapy thing, like every once in a while. It's tough though for things to talk about, because usually this is like me talking about my week. And like, I guess you could talk about your week, but I kind of like it when you guys ask the questions, which I'm super appreciative of. Again,
Yeah.
for everybody bringing up
Gives us
topics.
a direction to take it.
Yeah, because I can just imagine, like, if I didn't have this community tab with all these questions and like the 100 people that have left comments, we just turn this on, we sit here and we're like, so what happened this week? And that's basically
Yeah.
what I do. But it was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Awkward. We'll be back again with our regularly scheduled programming next weekend with episode 47. Of course, you can support this podcast in a number of ways. Do you know how they can support this podcast?
By watching it?
One, watching it. That's a big help. You could leave some feedback on this that I could comment on next week, or maybe on the next Missing Pieces with Mrs. Brickitect, we could do that. You could join us on Patreon. We do stuff over there. You could leave a review on Apple Podcasts for this. We're trying to get the #1 spot for Missing Pieces. Trying to beat out Fox or somebody that has the Missing Pieces title for the last 3 years. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. And as always...
Next video?
No, we'll find you in the next Missing Pieces. She doesn't even watch my podcast. Jeez.